And so, because you are that, you are capable, you are gifted, and you are so unique. All of the things that you may hate about yourself are your strengths. It's okay to be soft. It's okay to be opinionated. It's okay to be different. And it's so okay to just be you. The world awaits to receive you. Welcome to Uncensored Enlightenment Talk. You're here with your host, Grace Levi, and I'm here with a special interviewee. And that special interviewer is go by the name of Shadri. Give me a second, y'all. We having some technical difficulties, so I want to make sure that we can hear everything before we do everything.
Shadri, can everybody hear me?
All right, so what we're going to do today, now we're going to be doing a special interview with a young Atlanta superstar. This gentleman has been running his business for the last 5 years. How many years?
More than 6 years. It's been since I've been 16.
You 21?
Yeah.
Okay. So he's 21 and he's been running his business since the age of 16. So what we want to do is do a special interview highlighting some of his background, how he got into the industry, what he's actually contributing to Atlanta's culture. And we're going to take it from there. I want to say thank you for being here with Grace Levi. This is a post interview of our Atlanta Strong Economic Development Seminar. So, can you tell us a little bit about yourself, who you are, and what you do, and a little bit about your brand?
Interfaith clothing brand, and we just focus on bringing people closer to God and just finding your path on your walk, getting closer to God, just not being lost in this world. So when we say interfaith, the brand has three different categories we go by, as you could call it. We've got a spiritual side, Hebrew side, and Christian side. And all those just shows that you can come from three different backgrounds and still come together as a people and understand that you can find a way from other people's ways or the way they think, and y'all just go back and forth with each other and just figure out who you are as a person. And that's mainly it with who we are and what we do. We make all types of clothes, from hats to shirts to pants to pretty much anything. We want to start making things like pillows, watches, and just everything. But it's all in the name of God, getting people closer to Him.
Okay, so that sounds good because one of the things that we focus on as far as entrepreneurship is actually having your own niche. So it's not only about clothing brand, but it's actually about intertwining it with faith and a little bit of religion. So you said your clothing brand is based on a Christian, Hebrew, or is interfaith intertwined?
Yeah, I said it's interfaith, which we have three different categories, being Christian, spiritual, and Hebrew. You come from either of those backgrounds, just come in our community and understand that you can learn from us, we can learn from you. And I feel like us doing those three different categories teaches different nations, different countries that we could all learn from each other's culture.
Okay, so that sounds good because I think that's something that's really missing in our youth. As you stated, you're around 21 years old, and it's really hard for our younger people to kind of find that guide. So find your brand really amazing to be able to intertwine
biblical facts in a picture, and it actually brings people to your platform and you start to talk about it. Can you tell me a little bit about the story of the Jewish boy or Jewish individual who wanted to get to know a little bit more about what you was offering because of his background?
Okay, a lot of people hit me up for like certain videos going viral. Just see me around on TikTok, and oh, you need me to,
Yeah, you can't just keep it.
and he figured people come in my DMs and they tell me like they like my brand, could they model stuff like that. But sometimes people come and say and ask me questions about like how I became faithful in God, or how I'm going down the path that I'm going down as and the Jewish, I don't really know his age. I didn't really ask his age, but someone that was Jewish, and he came to me and said how he grew up in a Jewish home for most of his life, but he really felt like he wanted to get closer to God, so a Christian God, and that's what he felt was like for him. And him growing up in a Jewish home, he didn't really know how to break out of that Jewish religion or teaching. And not to say that the Jewish religion is bad, but just what he felt more so in his heart was to get closer to God. And he was asking me how I went down my path and stuff like that. So I talked to him for like a good minute, and we had deep conversations about how how my path went, how he could find a way to figure out his path, and just conversation like that. And those little type of conversations all come from just them seeing my brand. He seen a piece of clothing that he liked, or he just seen my brand overall look and was just like, I would have personally DM this person and asked them what got them to the point that they're at now. And I'm not even somebody that's crazy. I'm just a regular person just like him. And he felt inspired enough to be like, okay, let me talk to this person. And I was there giving him good advice and just being a human being about it. And that's where the morality of my brand really lies. Is just like being a human being to another human being, showing them that there's people in the world that's just regular human beings, just like you, and they are path that you want to be on without judging you, without like being uh that judging head or just trying to dictate everything you're doing and stuff like that. We're all we all sinned before, we all make mistakes. So nobody's gonna be perfect. So that's what our community just really just that's what I want our community to like really show that anybody like you can be from any walk of life coming into this community and just have a simple conversation. Like a simple conversation will go a long way, and people really demean that and not really dig deep into having simple conversations, or rather judge, or rather come at things harshly, and or not even say anything at all. But that's what we want our brand to really showcase.
I love it, and this really means a lot to me because what we have lost is our connection with God. So it's not really about religion; it's about going over to me what it sounds like is biblical facts because a lot of your pictures show biblical pictures, and it makes people actually ask questions. So I wanted him to share this story because it really touched me as well because it's people from all walks of the world that's really asking him these questions. And I think most religions do found their foundations in the Bible, which we know, and then they branch off. So my question to you is, how did you get so deep? You're very young. Like my thing is, how did you come with this frame of mind? Like, what was your background? What made you go this route?
So ever since I was young, I know I knew about God. My mom was definitely making sure God was in our life, but it wasn't like forced on us for the most part. But we still figured out. Oh, mom, can you fix that? Can you- I said, can you fix? Can you see us? Yeah, he had hit it by mistake when he walked across. But I'm sorry. What was the question again?
Basically, how do you get this
Okay.
transition?
Yeah, yeah. And it wasn't like super forced on us, but it was definitely the idea was definitely put there in our hands for us to choose. And ever since I was young, so like God was a God. God was a real thing. And just always be positive. Because God wouldn't put you in any type of situation that you couldn't really um, overcome or just anything of the sorts like that. I was really just had like an inner had like a faith already instilled in me just off birth. It wasn't really like it was really forced down my throat or anything like that. I just always felt like God was a person that was up there and he was there that he was always gonna be there regardless to help us. And me having type of like mindset ever since I was younger, it was easier for me to just get like see things a little bit more deeper than other people, or just get deeper into that, and not um, try to like run away from it. If that makes sense. And as the years went on, definitely taught us more and more. Um, like I said, it wasn't really forced. It was more so just like teaching us about things. The more we asked, the more she just wanted to tell us stuff and gravitated towards it. And from that point on, like I said, I was already super deep with like the way I thought. A lot of people don't wasn't thinking or don't think the way I think when it comes to like, is there a God up there? Is there not a God up there? Stuff like that. I already had that. Like, already know. I don't know why, but I already knew. It was a God up there that was. Um, and from that point on, I think I did a lot of things in my life that like I don't want to say got me closer to God, but like demonstrated that I have faith in God and stuff like that. But I never got like uh, what's the word? Became like a professor or like what is it? What's the word? A prophet? Uh, you know the person when you not a prophet. I'm not trying to say prophet. But I became like somebody that was like super on you need to be this, you need to be that. But I was deep into like my thought process on having faith in God. So I knew I was making it. I was making it like out of my clothing. Like,
Listen, spring clothes. Yeah. Got it ready. Oh, no, okay.
um, I will always would show different things inside my clothes because this is the brand I have now is not my first brand. Is actually my second brand. Yes, my second brand, and the first one I would make different pieces. Like I think I had an angel wing. I had an angel wing jean jacket, and it had uh, an angel wing on the back of it. I had an angel wing flannel, an angel wing uh, hat. But at this time, I wasn't like trying to make Christian clothing. I was just so happened to make these type of clothing because that's what I held dearly to my heart. It just felt right to make that type of clothing, and it wasn't a trend that I was hopping on or that's the hat one was a trend, but it wasn't a big trend that lasted for super long, and it wasn't like nobody was doing the angel wings um on the hats like they would do. They was usually doing like spikes and stuff like that. Wigs on it. And from there, I was trying to bridge a gap between figuring out how to make clothes, figuring out how to make clothes for the clothes that I like and the clothes that's actually going to sell. And I was making a lot of custom clothes like from scratch. I know how to make clothes from scratch and stuff like that. And I was going down the walks of that brand and just experimenting with things, getting scammed, things happening, going through going through big things, going through making a good amount of money, making money. It just really just walks of like having a business. So I realized that at a certain point in time, it's like um and I figured because along the way I was making like certain pieces that was custom made and certain pieces that was more so for the masses. And I even made a piece that was called Eternal War, and that one was one of the pieces that sold like really good, and it was more so for the masses. It was like really basic, but it had a good meaning behind it, and it was talking about the war that was going on in Haiti at the time, and that sold really good. But I always knew how to make basic clothes that had a message with it versus making custom made pieces that nobody ever seen before, one of these, something like that. So I was in a crossroad to go about things, and I figured out that okay, I gotta separate these two. And for me to separate these two, I figured I had to have two separate brands, or just one brand and have both of them going. I think it's better if you have two. You could do the one brand thing if you know how to do it, but I think it's better to have two because it differentiates your audiences. If you have a custom made audience and you post regular stuff, the custom made audience not gonna like the regular stuff, and the regular people not gonna like the custom made stuff, and it's gonna be like kind of a conflict of interest. So if you separate the two, you'll have, you'll be able to really dig deeper into both of those different audiences at one time. So I figure, okay, I make a separate brand. I made a separate brand, and the first piece that I made was like because when I was thinking I make a separate brand, like I said, I touched some money before or a few times, and I was like, okay, I could just make this a quick little brand and just make some money or whatever. And I end up making the brand. This is what everybody does in clothing brand community. They always get designs off Pinterest or Google or something like that. And uh, one of the designs that I got, and I was about to drop it, the artist had hit me up and was like, "Yo, you stole our design." Stuff like that. I didn't know I stole their design, but I said I stole their design and stuff like that. And they were sending a lot of hate to my page. And when they were sending hate to my page, it kind of like made me upset because I was like, they really think that I'm like, I don't know how to make clothes and stuff like that. So I started making, so I completely switched the whole thing. And I'm like, they really think I don't know how to make clothes. Like I made this one Christian piece in like 5 minutes for off of like I guess just me being upset or something like that. And I made that in 5 minutes, and when I made that piece sold out 50 pieces. I think I don't know if it was that same month, but that was my first ever drop, and that one sold out. And I was for that brand, I was going to plan on just making pretty much not trash clothes, but like generic clothes that I know is going to sell good. I started that brand in 2023. So I was probably going on 20. I was probably 19, going on 20.
Yeah, when you started, you talking about this new brand?
Yeah, the new brand. The new brand was
All right. So this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna let him eat a little bit, and I'm gonna break it down from the momager perspective because he said a lot, and it really made me go back in time to what we have went through. So basically, starting at the age of 14, or matter of fact, when he was about 8, 9 years old, he started to have a like for making sneakers. So I used to get the materials he needed and give him old sneakers, and he used to remake them, Jordans, make them different colors that they didn't have. Just cultivating his talent. And around the age of 14, we started the brand called Shoe Pound. because that was kind of what we were focused on. So the mother company is actually called Shoe Pound, and what he's talking about is recreating himself. He had made sub brands under Shoe Pound, which allows him to be more creative and allow his audience to be diverse and not be confused. So what he did was, as he said, trial and error, going through it, looking at the other younger brands out here in Atlanta. He actually started way before it started popping off out here in Atlanta with the customizing, but when it did, it sent him down a route of, okay, let's hurry up and make some fast money. And I'm going to be honest, this young man made at least about $7,000 at the age of 15, 16, and we literally got it in tax proof. And that told me that that was something that was very important to prove, to support him and move him forward. But what I did was definitely keep my messenger techniques kind of like on him, but away. When it came to creativity, I allowed him to be creative. Some of the hard ships that we went through as far as communication, if I saw something like, oh, I don't like that, oh, this got to be better, but I kind of let that be his realm, and I did more of the setting up of the financials when it came to legalities and branding and his name. The actual mother company is trademark. So as a parent, as a momager, I think that's very important for you. If you see the talent in your kid, don't be afraid to take bit by bit and actually build it for them, because now he's 21. He has a brand that is actually striving and growing and is legal, So what I've seen him say to you guys was that it went through the transition where he was like, hey, I'm just going to make something to keep the brand going. And he had someone come to him and say, hey, that's you taking our stuff. And that's where it comes to creativity. That's where it comes to you allowing your kid to be them and not just going into the trends. So as time went on, I know I talked to my audience on Uncensored Enlightenment Talk how spiritual connection had come through, and how we realized that we were from the tribe of Hebrews, from one of the tribes, and we was able to teach him in real time with facts. So it wasn't actually thrown down his throat like most religions will do and say, you have to do this, you have to do that. I was showing him with biblical facts, as well as he's seeing things unravel in front of his face. So that's why he's able to tell you this was a passive type of growth. But now we're looking at society and we're trying to form who he is and where he's going to go. It's like, hey, do you force your child to go down the conventional route of going to college when that's not for them? Or do you force them, or you kind of help them go down the route of cultivating who they are and still meet you in the middle? That's where we're at. So that's why I think this is a very important interview, because he is in the age group these are our young leaders. These are the people that's going to take care of us. So if we don't know their mindset, how we know what our future is going to look like? And that starts with us shaping them and giving them the tools. So what I'm hearing is that some of the teachings that I was able to show him about who we were as a Hebrew, he was able to incorporate that in his brand. That was nothing that I told him he had to do. One day I just saw a dope picture of kings, of black Hebrews, and I'm like, whoa. But then he had pictures of the conventional picture of Jesus. And I'm looking and I'm like, okay, this is going down another route. But it was beautiful because he was able to cultivate himself. So I wanted to kind of talk about that from a momager perspective, where I came in and, allow him to grow himself and go through the trials and errors. Some of the things we went through is being scammed. We went through being scammed. And it was hard, because he'll come to me afterwards and say, yo, I did this. And I'm like, $500 down the drain, but with that goes to say, you got to let the youth go through it just a little bit, and then you'll be able to redirect them. One of the things that I learned was that even if you talk to you blue in the face, that doesn't mean they're going to do what you want them to do. So you got to give them that leeway. So I just wanted to clarify that, give him some time to eat some of his burger as well, because this is kind of a lunch-in interview post our economic development seminars that we host every Wednesday. He's actually my cameraman. He helps me set up. And this is a family affair. This is Levi Productions. So I'm really grateful that I'm able to interview him, and you guys get to know what we do in the background because it's more than just presenting a show to you on Uncensored Enlightenment Talk or Primetime Home Buyers. It's also about incorporating real life. So I want you guys to see what goes on, what we go through on a daily basis, and I'm gonna continue to interview. So my next question is: now that you're moving forward with your brand, what 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 is your what is your how can I say what is your mind frame when you look at the conventional way of life, which is getting a 9 to 5 versus running your business? Where do you find a medium in that? Because our young people, you're not the only one struggling with that. With okay, I know what's normal, but then I know what I want to do. But then my question is, are you balancing that as young people based on what you see or based on what you want? I know that was a loaded question, but you kind of know what I'm talking about because you guys are going to be our leaders and y'all left with this system that we set up. And if you don't want the system, it's like, okay, what are we going to do next? Does that make sense?
I think when it comes to and trying to still in the system, I think it really depends on who you are. Because some people don't really mind working, not say regular job, but like let's say a trade. A lot of people, some people don't mind working a trade, just working a trade and learning their trade and just being the best they could be at this trade. Some people want to be lawyers, people want to be nurses, stuff like that. And some people want to be entrepreneurs. And when you become entrepreneurs, entrepreneurship, you always need to come back to fall back on, if that makes sense. Because for years and years, we see millionaires who that became all this stuff like that from having a business. They were working for years and years and years on it without getting any money. But they'll master their same way somebody can get into a trade or master their craft and they'll probably be getting pennies compared to what they can actually get. So when it comes to entrepreneurship, if you don't want to really be in a system but you want to be an entrepreneur, I feel like you need to have to back of you like um, a really good 9 to 5 certifications that you could have under your belt, or just really getting good at something, at one thing, and using that money to reinvest into your brand or to invest into the things you actually want to do, what we consider dreams, stuff like that. So for the most part, I feel like if you want to be an entrepreneur and you want to still be in the system, you can figure out certain things that you would like to do, like certification, like get certifications or get certain good skills. Because some people even some people are hustlers, so they'll be working cleaning roofs, doing lawn care and stuff like that, and then they'll use that money to fund something bigger in terms of passive income entrepreneur. So like you really just gotta figure out what worked for you to still be in this economy so that you can actually touch the economy the way you want to touch the economy and stuff like that. But you have to figure out a way in like your today time to fund your lifestyle, but your dreams or what you're trying to accomplish for the most part.
I definitely support that because that's something that we have been going through. Like I told you, I'm from the 80s, so we kind of we're coming out of that era where we're still into conventional living, conventional ways of approaching stuff like get a job, do it this way. And we're also into entrepreneurship. So I'm glad that he is stressing that to the younger people that, hey, maybe you do need a support. Make sure you have a support before you go through these business ventures and find yourself in poverty because it's always an up and down type of situation. One year he made 4,000, 7,000, 14, and then it went down to 2 during the COVID. It doesn't, it depends on the outside environment. So that's some of the things that I have taught him to pay attention to. another thing that I think is important us as parents, we have to make the decision what we're going to do. Are we going to support them? Okay. Excuse me. What are our expectations? What do they have to do? It's hard to raise an entrepreneur. Um, and get them through to the hump. So I want you guys to understand that it's a role that we have to play collectively as a family to get our younger people to par. Either they're going to go into trades, or they're going to go into healthcare, they're going to go into the conventional way, or they're going to go into entrepreneurship. We still have to find a way to support our kids and do it wholeheartedly. It's not an easy process, but I'm going to tell you guys, if you can do it, you can do it. I have one that's conventionally going to college, and I have one that's literally like, hey, I'm a business, but I'm gonna do my thing, you know. But with that goes to say um, there is, how can I say, benefit in having a foundation, and that foundation starts with family. So not only do you see that I'm being his support and understand the importance of collective unity, but he also understands the importance of having stability, because being a business owner doesn't always mean you're stable. So I think I asked you a lot. We're getting down to the end of our meal. We're going to try to do this with entrepreneurs who attend our economic development seminar. If they're available to come to the after hours when we do that, they'll come and have a conventional interview. But I wanted to share with you the plight of this young man. He is my son, and I have been going through this transition with him since adolescence. And it's a blessing that I was able to introduce this to him, but then also it is a lesson because it is a scary process. I want you guys to know that you can do it. That if you allow your kids to be who they are. Obviously, you see, I'm a very strong person. I know who I am. I know what I want. I know what I don't want. But you never just push that onto your kids, because you're going to stagnate their growth. You're going to stagnate who they are. You give them structure, and you give them, make sure that they're accountable, but you also give them room to grow. So, is there anything that you want to leave off with a message to the youth that's your age, that's currently trying to establish their business, may be getting support, may not be getting support? What do you want to tell them?
I say find your motivation and what you're really passionate about. If you find motivation and what you're really passionate about, it'll make you think. Because I know some people some like get a job, stuff like that. But if you find your motivation, what you're passionate about, you'll find something for you to be like something. You'll find something for you that you can invest into what you really need to be going, what you really have going on. Because we all know bills are always due. We all know bills are always due. So that is a real life expectation that we always have to look look at, especially when we get to a certain age. So if you know bills always got to be due, you always got to make sure there's something going on, and it's not illegal. It's like something that's actually legal, and you can fall back on this thing because it's a legal thing, and you can fall back on it. If you thinking about being in a better position that you're in, working in those times, it's not going to kill you as much when you know you're gonna they're using these times, these opportunities to further your life and further just to further your being and like who you actually want to be. That's what I think.
Exactly. I do want to end with one more thing, because Atlanta has been the home of the scams. And as he told you, he had got scammed a few times and had to learn. What do you want to say to your youth about the scamming that they're doing and the possible end result of that? They scamming hard out here, y'all.
What I think, uh, honestly, I don't think it's gonna entire life unless I guess you're like extremely good at it. But I don't think a lot of people are even that good because if you were that good, I would have wanted to be doing that. But zero fire. But I even know people that wasn't in Atlanta and they go to Atlanta just to learn how to scam so that when they can be using it for better for like different ways. Like I would go to Atlanta to hang around certain people so I can learn how to scam. I go to Atlanta to further my dreams of going to be a coach clothing brand creators. Like that's what I would do. But some people have these talents and they'll waste it on certain things because they know I need money. We don't fail. They say we all know bills are due, but that don't mean go out and do something illegal because bills are due. Like you can still be ethical with the way you operate. And so eventually, if it don't catch up to you this life, it probably comes to your kids. And that's to the next generation. It's just like that's how the world works. That's how karma is. That's how whatever you send out in the universe, it comes back. So you could think you okay now, but you probably don't get caught your whole life. But somebody's gonna feel what you're putting out. So that's awesome.
Right, and that was an amazing message to give to our youth in Atlanta because we have a pandemic of scamming, and they believe that this is going to be something to sustain their life. But at the end of the day, they're wasting a lot of precious years and not building their skills and cultivating their talents. So I will end off like this. The only way that you're going to be able to have someone that has a mindset like that is giving them support. I want to give love and blessing to Miss Betty. I want to say thank you so much for being with us. And you are 100% right. This is the fruit of what I have put in. Now, it's not everything is not perfect, but you have to make sure that you seed, you fertilize, and you be attentive to the seeds that you put into your kids because this is the next generation that's going to take care of us. So we've been here long enough. I want to say thank you again. This was our post live of our economic development series, and we're going to continue to bring more broadcasts that's going to uplift you, teach, elevate the Black community because there's no more waiting around. No one's going to take care of us. They never did, and they never will. You have a great day, and we'll see you next time live on Uncensored Enlightenment Talk, as well as Lashley's Legacy.
Answer. Because you are that, you are capable. You are gifted, and you are soon to be opinionated. It's okay.